Straight Talk with Ivette Elizabeth. And this is episode 2 of season 1. So thanks for coming back and listening. Means a lot to me. And this episode, we're going to jump straight to it. Today, I have a special guest, someone who means a lot to me. And I'm going to introduce you to her. Her name is Sienna.
Look at you.
And Sienna's actually my oldest niece.
No, we're not sisters. It may look like it.
I know. Don't be cute. Don't be cute. But I wanted to do this episode with Sienna because Sienna is in the young generation and she's gone through a lot of different chapters in her life that I'm sure she's not the only one that's experienced them. And I want to talk about those experiences that she's been through as in her younger years and what got her through them and how she became who she is today.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, I would not be the confident version of myself if it wasn't for you. You definitely brought me out of my shell. I was a shell of the person I am today before I moved to Florida. I've been in Florida for about a year now, a little bit over a year, and my life has changed so much for the better. I have a 1.5-year-old son, and prior to moving here, it was pandemic drama and just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of insecurity, a lot of depression and anxiety, and it just really came out in how I presented myself. It was impossible to get away from. So I'm so happy that I can finally feel comfortable in my own skin. I mean, I brought a life into this world, and that kind of made me appreciate my body more, because that was freaking amazing, unbelievable. I still can't believe it. He's here 1.5 years, and it's unfathomable. But, yeah.
Well, just to let you know, you are beautiful, inside and out.
It runs in the blood.
Sienna, actually, she was in her shell for sure, and I try to also understand why she would feel uncomfortable about herself. When I think she's beautiful, she is beautiful, and I definitely have insecurities. I have my days where I just feel like, oh my God, I'm the ugliest duckling in the world. And then I have my days where I'm like, I am that bitch, okay? But when I get those days, it's not because I just woke up like that. I have an amazing support system between my friends and my family. And without that, I don't know where I would be standing today. That is for sure. I feel that we have a double vision when we see ourselves in the mirror. I know I feel that way. I will look at myself in the mirror. I think I look a certain way, so I feel good. And then I go out and about, and then I see these pictures, and I'm just like,
who is that?
Yes, I feel disgusting. I feel horrible. I feel like, oh my God, what are people thinking of me? What was I doing wearing that? I still have a body image. I have my days. And I've overcome that. And a lot of the times, too, Sienna doesn't believe it, but she's helped me overcome some of that fear as much as I've helped her come out of her shell.
Definitely. I think we both, of course, have our insecurities, but ours are a little bit different, and I feel like where you're lacking in the confidence is where I'm pushing you the most, and vice versa, and I feel like that's how we both have been able to blossom into these versions of ourselves that we are now, and we're can I curse?
Yeah.
We're bad bitches, and I love it.
And once again, guys, this is definitely raw, unfiltered, so of course we will definitely keep it with respect, but it is what it is. We are bad bitches, and many other bad bitches out there that I give props to.
Yes. And if it wasn't for those bad bitches out there, we also wouldn't feel like bad bitches.
Indeed.
Because it just feels so empowering to see other women feel beautiful and feel confident, and going back to the support system that we have is amazing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's so many beautiful, strong-minded, positive women, and it just really shows in the growth. Like I said, I've been in Florida for a year, and that's when I reconnected with my culture, reconnected with my femininity, and it was just amazing. And how everything worked out was just so on time. It was God's plan.
It is. I definitely believe it was God's plan, especially because I was not around physically enough to be a part of Sienna's life. My sister and my nieces and nephew are military family, pretty much.
My mom is her sister.
Yes, indeed. And her stepdad was military, so they did move out of New York at a younger age. So they grew up a lot differently, culture-wise as well, based on their environment. You moved to Fort Drum.
Yeah, which is about an hour north of Syracuse, 30 minutes south of Quebec, Canada.
Okay.
So way, way, way up there.
Yeah, definitely not the Bronx.
Yeah.
And then from there, they moved to Savannah, Georgia, and they lived there for a while. So tell me, going from the Bronx to North New York to then Savannah, how did that affect you mentally, sociably, just you? How did you feel to fit in?
Fitting in was an epic battle that I lost every day of my life. Every move was a huge culture shock. I mean, I was in a melting pot of culture in New York City, and there was so many people that looked like me, that sounded like me, that could relate to me. And then I was snatched out of there when I was about 10 years old to move up to really, really rural New York. And it was just a lot of white people that did not look like me, could not relate to me. They didn't even know what Dominican was, and I went through a whole identity crisis because I really wanted to look like them, wanted to sound like them, wanted to experience that same privilege that I didn't even know they had. I just knew that I was different. And also living on a military base, I wasn't allowed to do anything, and all these kids had grown up around all the other kids that lived off base, so it was just outside of the cool kids. I was just living in my own world, trying to navigate this whole new environment. I moved from Fort Drum when I was about 13. I was also always the youngest person in my class, so when everybody else was in freshman year, they were 14, I was 13 as a freshman. I moved in the middle of my freshman year to Savannah, Georgia. Again, huge culture shock. Like, I actually wasn't able to communicate with anybody for about a year. Like, it took a lot of time to be able to pick up their slang, to just know what the South was like. I had never experienced anything like that, and it took a lot of getting used to. I had to learn how to code switch because in Savannah I was a lot more exotic, a lot more foreign, and they didn't really also know what to do with me. Some more people did know what Dominican was, but still it wasn't.
So, like, you say, like, Dominican was. So, tell me, like, okay, what was the culture? Because for me, I can be outside, I can go to a grocery store or Walmart, and somebody can overhear me talk, and depending on what I'm saying, they can determine, oh, are you from New York? Or you're Hispanic? Or
Yeah.
they listen to what I'm listening to. Oh, are you Dominican, Puerto Rican? So, tell me, like, going to school, your first day at school, how did that make you feel to try to even be a friend with someone? Like, what was that conversation like for you to feel like, oh my God, I'm like this odd person, I'm alien, they don't know what Dominican is. So, like, how did you work with that? Like, how did you build to where you felt at least accepted?
Well, I think it begins with starting to have that conversation, because every beginning phase of a friendship or a acquaintanceship or anything, it always started with an interview, honestly. Like, they were wondering where I was from, and sometimes I would have them just guess, because that was more fun than just like trying to explain. But it was a learning experience. Some people made it a huge deal, my race and ethnicity, and it was like always the topic of the conversation. And at first, I did feel really appreciated, really seen and unique, because everybody was so interested in the fact that I look so different than everyone else in Savannah. Again, a tidbit of Savannah is very segregated still. I mean, I feel like there's no gray areas, very black or very white, and they did not know what to do with me. So I was kind of interviewed by everybody I came across.
So like, what finally made you get to a point where, because for me, so let me tell you a little bit about me in my younger ages. And for a lot of people, they may not know this. Some people may know. So those are listening, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember. So I used to be the quiet one, the nerdy one, the one that looked a little different. In elementary school, I used to be picked on. And I used to deal with it in the sense that some I thought were my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So like, some I just bypassed it or whatever, to the point where I got used to it and it didn't bother me. But when we were friends, we were friends.
Yeah.
So how did you get to a point where you felt like, you know what, fuck that, like, I am who I am? When did you want to finally embrace you?
So when I was in Savannah for a couple of years and I felt like I was burnt out from being there, I got into this really depressive, lazy phase where I didn't take care of myself, really. I didn't dress myself like I wanted to present myself, and I was it just showed how lazy and how unconfident I was. So, like I said, once I got pregnant, I did not enjoy my pregnancy, and I wish I did. I wish I had another experience for that, but I didn't feel beautiful or glowy or anything like that. Looking back now, I definitely look at it in a more positive light, but even when I was pregnant, I was still dressing like I did not care about myself. And just the thought of, in the future, I'll have to pick up my son from school, and I don't want all the kids to be like, who is this bum picking up AJ? I just wanted to present myself like I cared about my life, like I cared about how I presented myself and my son, and I also knew that I wanted him to look great, but I didn't want to look like a pile of shit next to him. So
if you could talk to yourself back to when you were 15, what would you say to yourself?
That my uniqueness is so amazing. Like, it makes everything worthwhile. Like, my perspective, my point of view, my experience, my journey is so different than anybody else's I've ever met. And I used to really think that was like something that was a downfall, something that was to look negatively at. And I would just tell my 15-year-old self that I just need to appreciate all those moments. And also, adulthood is a trap. I would not do it. Do not recommend.
I know, we don't have a choice.
Oh my goodness.
But I'll say this. One, I am beyond blessed and grateful to have you as my niece. And you bless me being your aunt, thanks to my sister, of course. But I'm also... AJ is my great nephew who I love to pieces, and I look at you, you were here a year ago, and I didn't even know.
We didn't even have a relationship, really.
Right. Like, I'm blessed that for the bit of communication that we maintained, that I was able to save you from where you thought that was your hole.
Yeah, that was definitely my wit's end. Right before I moved here was one of the lowest points. Like I said, the peak of the pandemic. I was struggling with like homelessness, and I was just not in a safe situation at all. And I was a first time mom, single mom. It was just nonstop stress. You saved me from that environment, and I've just been going up ever since. And it, like I said, it shows in every aspect. My job, my son, my body, my confidence. It shows in everything. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
I am proud of you, and you're very welcome. I think you helped me realize how confident I really am without knowing I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know I'm confident on non-beauty, like when it comes to work or getting things done. My A game is on there.
Yeah.
I get shit done. I hustle. I do what I gotta do. I don't think about beauty in that aspect. You know, I'll leave the house looking crazy. I don't give a damn. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I don't care. And then I look back at my younger years, and I look at old pictures and I reminisce, and I think, damn, like, okay, I used to be so skinny.
Yeah.
And I'm here like trying to lose 30 pounds, and I'm just like, and then I look and I'll compare myself, like, damn, I was too skinny. Or when I thought I needed to lose weight to look better, and I look at the pictures now, I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Right. And that's another thing I would tell my 15-year-old self, to just like enjoy the body, the state of mind, the everything that I'm at right then and there. Because I do the same thing. Look at old pictures where I was like 10, 12, swearing that I was so fat, and I never was. And I feel like because I believed I was fat, I made myself fat. Because before puberty, family, obviously not you, but family were always mentioning my weight, so it was at the forefront of my mind, and I started acting like a fat girl and eating like a fat girl because this is what everybody expected, and it was easier to follow along with that than to fight against it. And fast forward, after puberty, I just became a thicker girl. And I used to hate it. I love it now. I actually never want to be skinny. I love my curves.
You're glowing now, in case you didn't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel that, and I feel the same way. So I don't think I ever want to be skinny. I love my thickness.
Yes.
I've received compliments.
Yes.
I think it just runs in our blood, in our family, in our genes, in our culture. We love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
There's
and
also it shows. There's also a balance, healthy eating, right? I think a lot of us, especially being Dominican, you know, we can burn those calories dancing on the dance floor.
Those hits.
Exactly. But let me ask you this. So when Sienna came here.
Damn it. My identity.
She came here last July, and we're gonna also give a big shout out, a special shout out to my former and my new friend who calls me mom, Michaela by KK. She was my neighbor upstairs, and she moved in literally within weeks that Sienna moved here, and I felt like the timing was right for the both of them.
Honestly.
They were both going through their own personal issues, and they were able to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And me being insecure, and here are these beautiful women that they have so much to show for, and not just in beauty, just your personality and your character. All of that makes you who you are. Because you can be looking pretty outside, but if you got an ugly heart, we ain't talking. Like, no, like, you're done.
Yeah.
And so shout out to KK, because she's out there on her way back to her hometown, so we already miss her like crazy.
That's my bestie.
Yeah, indeed.
I love her. She's helped me do so much through this journey. She's grown so much. Like, we have literally all uplifted each other with the confidence, and you can look at a picture of us 1 year ago today and just it radiates through us.
It does. Even for me. Yeah. Because I went shopping crazy for clothes I never thought I would buy or see myself in. Okay. And you know, it's all about, honestly, your confidence makes a difference. Yeah. And goes back to
people feel it around you, and it spreads, and
that is true.
It creates the ambiance and what's the word? The morale. It's a positive morale.
Because if you want to be, just how they say, you wake up with a positive thought, you can have a great day today. But if you run into somebody who's in a bad mood, I don't want your energy. Like, take that shit elsewhere. Like, you're not gonna mess up my vibe. Now, all I could do is try to help you lift your spirits. But if you ain't trying to hear it, I'm not trying to deal with you. And I've learned also to cut the BS. I ain't got time for you. I don't got time for your BS. You don't got time for me. Do you? I'll do me. I've learned to just love me. Love myself every day. Saying is believing. That is for sure. And it took a lot, even for Sienna. Like, I remember I took her shopping for the first time. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, she was not in the section she should have been.
I used to dress like a man all the time. And I still do like to have my more masculine days. I like to feel comfortable in how I feel that day. But
now you tone it where it's like sexy comfortable.
Right. And I wasn't comfortable with the femininity, so I could never go to the women's section, and like everything I had to put on, I had to wear a bra for it. Like, I had to wear the right underwear.
Now you guys listening?
Not prepared for that.
This is literally the change I'm talking about. This is someone who literally just didn't care, and I'm proud. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. The glow is in you, and just you living the experience of, come to say that definitely environment makes an impact on you, on anyone. Because if you're, again, morale, if you're not surrounded by positivity, positive energy, all of that feeds off of you. So you want to have someone to be like, go get it. You can do this. You got this. And I feel like even having you here with me has helped me see the light differently. Like, I've taken steps I never thought I would do. Oh, that won't be me. I can't do that. And the thing is that everyone in my circle, in my world, friends and acquaintances I have, will always, you guys believe in me more than I ever believe in myself. So I will question me like, damn, like, really? I could do it? And I will get no hesitation. So I also want to thank everyone who's in my life. You all do have some type of impact in my life, who's made me who I am. Or you've just helped me shine better, honestly. And as I talked about in episode 1, these are things I do want to talk about and share, because I feel like, obviously, Sienna's not the only one that has experienced this. There's a lot of females and males who don't feel comfortable with themselves based on how they grew up, how they were raised, what was their surroundings like, what was their social skills like. They don't have no one to talk to or confide in, or someone to help them come out of their shell.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I also don't think, I think the way everything happened also was very organic. Like, you did try to force me into a V-neck shirt that first time.
I did. I was like, girl, come on,
I couldn't even wear that. Oh my gosh.
And it was just a shirt. Like, it was really, like, boobs was not out or anything. But I was like, girl, this is
it was just a V-neck t-shirt. It was very
simple.
I just couldn't even do that. Like, that goes to show I'm in a dress today. Like,
we did a boudoir photo shoot,
Yes.
and let me tell you, mommy's
and
look.
stuff like that is also what helps so much. I would have never saw myself like that, like, or that I could be sexy, and just for events that it's all women, so I have nothing to worry about. I don't have to feel uncomfortable. That was really why I struggled with the femininity in the first place, because I didn't want to be perceived like I was trying to be pretty for men. That was my biggest thing. And I just stopped trying to be pretty. And even then, not to sound conceited, it still did not stop anybody from trying to approach me. I was dressing like a bum. Like, I did not care about myself. Never did my hair. And it still didn't stop people from, like, having their attention on me. And it made me feel uncomfortable even more. So I used to hide under all my clothes. And the fact that, again, moving here and being around all these positive, like-minded women, it just brought me out of that shell more naturally than, like, I'm taking away all your clothes and you have to wear this. Like...
So Sienna shops in my closet, guys.
Yes, I do. It's my favorite place to shop.
It is, and I love it. At first, I was like, I haven't worn that yet, but I've never
Don't it look
experienced.
nice?
And so I love it because I used to do that with my aunt. I used to go home with garbage bags full of clothes from her shelf. So she ain't gotta go nowhere. She
Right.
just,
This is my closet. I just let her use it.
and I'll see her. We'll FaceTime each other, and I'll be like,
and I'll do a spin for her so she knows.
I'm like, dang girl, I think you're wearing it better than me. So I want to let you guys know that me witnessing her growth in a year, and I'm also a pusher, so
Definitely.
I was not gonna let her down because I would have felt like I didn't do my part as her aunt, but also as I shine, you shine. Like, there's no way I'm gonna shine and you still in the freaking hole. Like, that's just not happening. So I'm glad that you got to see the light and you said, damn, I want to see what's the rest of the light, because there's so much there for you. AJ is gonna be great. I think that you've grown up a lot, matured a lot. The co-parenting, being the mom, being responsible, and you did it, girl, and you're still doing it. Like, you've come from, not only personally, but even like professionally, you went from not just working at any job. Now you actually you're an executive. You're working in an executive office, which is a start for the future, you know, and now you're not just thinking about yourself. You got to think about AJ. So let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. What advice would you give to any of those females out there that have experienced what you've experienced? What would you tell them today?
I would say this too shall pass. And as cliche as it sounds, it's all you can use sometimes. And something that has always helped me is, no matter how down I feel, no matter how depressed and anxious I feel, thinking of at least one thing, it could be the smallest thing, something that you're grateful for, it helps me so much. Like, literally the smallest thing, I'm just grateful I woke up this morning. I'm just grateful it didn't rain when I got out the car. I'm just grateful that my son is happy and healthy. It's all the little things that you're grateful for that it takes the edge off. It takes the hurt off a little bit from all the stressors and anxiety. That's what I would tell my younger self, and also all the younger women that I think is also my younger self.
Awesome. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think please leave your feedback, comments. This will be on our YouTube, hopefully. Let me stop. But you can see us video as well. We love you guys. Please, I appreciate the support. And
Make sure you guys follow us on all of our social media. Your social media
is Straight Talk with Elizabeth.
You already know.
And you can also follow Ciana
at troppy.ciana. That's Ciana on Instagram.
And other than that, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank
Love
you guys so much. Be safe out there.